All right, guys, welcome back to Hood's Custom Shop. So you seen how dull that chain was. I mean, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. The thing is, what to look for when you're cutting with your saw to know if you need to sharpen it or not is you want those big chips coming out. So if you got a lot of fines in it and your chips just aren't real big coming out, you know, that right there is not too bad. That's chips, and we got some chips here, but overall they're fairly small. All right, so you know, if you're looking at the stream of chips coming out or the sawdust coming out from your saw when you're cutting, and you know, and you've seen them bigger, right? It's hard to explain, but when you're cross cutting, you want there to be chips coming out. If you're cutting with the grain, it should be pulling really long strands out of there. So that's one thing to look for to know if you need to sharpen your saw. I know I've had some comments before, people watching me on my YouTube videos, watching me pulling them big long strands out when I'm cutting with the grain. That's just what happens when you cut with the grain like that, when you're ripping, as long as you're not going sideways. All right, so let's look at this log here. All right, so on the end grain of this log, if I come in here with my bar pointed down like this right here, it's not going to pull out those big long strips. But if I put my bar like this, it's going to pull out really big long strips. All right, so I've already actually sharpened my chain before I started doing the intro part here. So let me fire up the saw and I'll demonstrate that for you. All right, guys, so there you have it. I mean, that's what it looks like when you're cutting from the end. I mean, it has a lot to do with how you hold the saw in orientation to the grain structure of the wood, and any saw will do that. All right, there's not really anything special that I'm doing to make it do that, other than just holding it right here at the end grain and pulling with the grain of the wood. So yeah, that's nothing special with how I'm sharpening my chains or anything. One thing I will point out, let me grab a couple of chains out of my box here so I can kind of show y'all. Is that it? Okay, so let me Let me find the one I just had. All right, so this is the chain that I'm running on my 455 Husqvarna. I've got her tangled up a bit here. Let me get it straightened out. All right. Let me find one here that's not beat to death. It looks like they're all pretty well beat to death. All right, so here's one that's not too bad. All right, so looking at this profile of this tooth here, right here, where these two come together right here in this corner, you see how that comes to a sharp point? That's called a full chisel chain. Okay. Now whether or not this is a safety chain or not, I don't know. It only has the one raker right here. I filed the rakers down just a little bit. You can kind of see that little flat right there on it. So when I resharpen these, every now and then I'll take a little bit off of that. And you know, if I notice that the chain is not real hungry when it's, you know, freshly sharpened, that's when I'll go back and I'll knock a little bit off of those rakers. I don't just, you know, go ahead and knock it off there to begin with, because you can actually make it a little too hungry and make it to where it bogs the saw down. So that's something you want to kind of be careful of. But you know, there's just, you got to find that happy medium there. Now, a lot of the problem a lot of you guys are having, in my opinion, is the profile of your chain. So looking at this tooth right here, you can see right here, this is I don't even remember what they call this, but it's not a chisel chain. It's like a semi chisel or something. It's rounded over right there. I really don't like these. They don't seem to cut very good at all. This is let's see, I think that's original Husqvarna chain right there. It says Husqvarna on it, but I believe that's for my 20 inches, either the 16 or 20, I can't remember. I don't like these at all. All right, I like the Oregon chain that I get from my chainsaw dealer, and I have much better luck. I mean, my saw just cuts so much better when I get my chain from them. They make it for me. They know exactly the size I need for my saw. I just tell them which saw it is, and they make it up for me. Here you go, there's your chain. It's actually cheaper that way than going to Lowe's or some other place where it's already pre-packaged and it's supposed to fit. And so I go and get it made, right? So I'll show you a video here real quick, just kind of showing you how I go through and sharpen. And you guys will notice that I don't have any guides or anything on my file. I absolutely cannot stand having a guide on there. That it just gets in the way and you really can't see what you're doing or what you're accomplishing. And so I'd much rather have it like this. This handle right here I actually made myself, because it's, you know, I kind of have fat hands. It probably don't look like that on camera. My hands look little on camera, but anyways, I like these bigger handles like this. Let's see. Here is a regular steel file handle, and that thing is so small in my hand, it makes my hand cramp up whenever I'm sharpening a chain. So I like these right here. They're bigger around. It's something to really, you know, hold on to, and it doesn't cause your hand to cramp up when you're filing for a couple hours on end whenever you have a couple of saws to do. So yeah, here we go. Let's check out the video. All right guys, today on Hood's Custom Shop, we're going to show you how to sharpen a chainsaw chain. That's right, it's a chain, it's not a blade. So let's get after it. All right guys, so my first tip to hand filing your chainsaw chain is do not do this. Do not go like this. Do not do that. You go like this right here. All right. So I do a couple of swipes down in here in the gullet to get that out down in there. And then I come up and I start filing up here on the top. All right. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this, but right there on top of each one of these teeth, there's a line in it. And basically, I just try to do it at the same angle as that line right there. All right, pretty easy. Couple of swipes down here, you know, maybe 3 swipes down there in the gullet, and then come up and take a couple of swipes on the top, you know, kind of pulling up into the top of that tooth and pushing back towards the back. Now, I do not, you know, I don't file straight across like this. It's more like this, but just at a slight upwards angle towards that tip right there. Just trying to match the exact same angle and always just keep it the same as it was, you know, from the chain being factory. And I try to get a nice sharp point on there. So the easier way to do this is actually get it out here at the end of the trailer. Let's move this camera back a little bit. Get it out here, kind of like so. Well, I got everything's in the way. All right. Basically, where I can grab a hold of it like this. You guys just ain't in a good spot right there. Man. That's the hardest part. So that's the hardest part, guys, is trying to get the camera in a good spot to where you guys can really see how to sharpen. All right, we'll see if that works right there. All right, so it's a lot easier if you got 2 hands. You just kind of hold on to the end of that, and that's why I like having the this block of wood. Now, if this block of wood was fastened down to this trailer, it'd be even better. See, that's the problem. This thing keeps moving on me. Maybe that'll hold it. All right, let's see if we can get this camera where you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. This is the easiest, quickest, bestest way I know. It's really not difficult. It flies inside my shoe. All right, guys, I hope you liked that video. Hopefully it will help you out. Hopefully I got some good footage in there. I haven't really got to review that footage yet, but hopefully that'll give you a better idea how to sharpen. Now, there's a couple of points to remember when you're sharpening your chain on your chainsaw. Number one, get the gullet out. Number two, I would say probably don't drag your file back through the chain. I don't know. Every time I do that with my file, it clogs my file up. My file just gets clogged up with shavings. It doesn't want to work very good anymore. So, you know, I find that just run it through, pull it out, and I mean, it doesn't take that much extra time. And once you get into the habit and the muscle memory of that, it's really not that big a deal. So anyways, guys, let's fire up the saw. Let's finish cutting this thing up here. So here we go. All right, guys, let's take a look at this. So here's what I was looking at that looked like it was spalted, or not spalted, but like burly, which it is a little bit right here in this little general area here. But I think I might be able to work with this. I don't know, we'll just see. So I don't want to cut up a whole bunch of these right now. I just want to get a couple of these and take them inside. The sun's going down, and so hopefully here in the next couple of days or so, hopefully I'll have a video out on making a kuksa. A kuksa, I think that's how you say it. K-U-K-S-A, kuksa. So anyways, a wooden coffee cup. What I was actually thinking about on this first one I cut off, this one right here, I'm thinking about making one that's like a mug, you know, a pretty deep one. I think that'd be kind of cool. I don't know. I'll have to figure out how I'm going to do that. I have no idea how I'm going to do it. Maybe I'll have to turn it on the lathe. If I could get it on the lathe, that might work. I might be able to hollow it out on the lathe, and then we'll just have to hand carve the handle and everything after that. That might work. Or I'll just have to use a Forstner bit or something to drill down into it to get the most out of it or whatever. I don't know. We'll figure out what we're going to do. But first off, I want to make a kuksa. Man, why is Word so hard for me? All right, guys, hope you liked the video. Please smash that thumbs up if you would. And what was the other one? Share the videos if you would, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Funny outtake. My sawdust shaker. You get it? Like a salt shaker? I know, it's a dad joke. Have a good one, guys. See ya. I thought my chickens were slacking, but apparently they're giving them to the neighbors, and apparently they think they go in the wood pile. So look at this. There's some of my eggs. Oh look, there's a burrow. Maybe I can make a kooksa out of that. I don't know. Let me set these eggs down and I'll go back and get the kooksa. The kooksa burrows. Kooksa? Yeah, kooksa. Man, that's odd name. All right, so let's see. I don't know if this thing will make anything. It's kind of hollow in the middle. That might work. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is a black walnut burrow. And black walnut's not the best thing to make a cup out of, but we might give it a shot. We'll just have to boil the crap out of it, right? Get all that tannic acid and stuff out of it. So, anyways, see you then. Bye.